This is a Workman's dashboard help tutorial for the add new job function. So the way by which we're going to get a new job into our system, we can click this blue icon up in our header up here for add new job, which is going to bring us to this template of mostly blank cells for us to fill in. So first we're going to set an account for this job. So we can create a new account if this is a new customer, which would pull up this pop-up wizard here. We would enter the account information. Anything denoted with an asterisk is a required field, so we'd go through here and enter information both for the account name and any contacts included. So, if you're doing homeowner work, typically the account name and contact would likely be the same person. But if we're doing commercial work, either for a property manager or a general contractor or some sort of commercial client, we would put the name of the business and the account information, and then we would establish a contact person or more than one person that we're dealing with that are our actual relationships with the job. So just for sake of time, I'm going to, instead of creating a new account, I'm going to select an existing account, which I can just start typing something to search for something that's existing. I'll click on the Viewpoint LLC here. And then after we've selected the account, we're going to assign the contacts to this job. So there might be multiple people that work for this organization. We want to select the person that's actually going to be the point of contact for this specific job. So I've actually already got my own name in here as being a representative of the Viewpoint LLC. I'm going to check this box, and then I'm going to click Assign Contacts to the job here shortly. If you wanted to add new contacts to this account, you could click the New Contacts button, which would launch a new window to add another name or more than one name to this area. So as it is, I'm going to select the name Thomas Mary and click Assign Contacts to Job. And then what we're going to see, we're going to select from our contacts on the job, we're going to select one primary contact. So we only have one person assigned to the job, so there's only one person available. This is important because this is the name that's going to show up on any bid proposals, any work orders, or any invoices that you create. So generally there's one primary point of contact with the orchestration of each job. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then from there, I'll move rightward over here to the addresses. We've instituted some accelerators so that you don't have to enter information more than one time. So for example, if the site address is the same as the account address, which particularly if you're doing homeowner work it would be, we can just click the Use Account button and it's going to paste in that information here. And likewise, for the billing address, we could either use the account, which is going to paste the information from the account information, or I can click Use Site if there's something different in here. So for example, if I have an actual physical address up here and I want to use that information down here in my billing address, I can click Use Site and it's just going to copy that information down. So it just makes things go a little bit quicker. Over on the job info area, so each job is going to have a unique name. I'm just going to call this test job 123. I would encourage you to come up with some sort of a naming convention for your names. It can be helpful. Within our organization, we have some abbreviations for some frequent customers that we serve dozens of times or hundreds of times a year. So we have a nomenclature that we've developed to shorten some names, and then also we have little abbreviations that we use to give little clues about what the scope of work is for the job, which can just be useful if you're looking at a report or looking at a dashboard and scanning several or dozens of jobs at a time. You can kind of get clues about what is involved with those jobs that can be really helpful. The job number, this is just an integer that is added. Each successive job is just one number higher. So the starting place of this is dictated in the admin panel that's set up by the administrative user, which we'll discuss that in a separate video. But for the purposes of this, the last job number was 26033, and so now that we're establishing a new job, this job will be 26034. This can be edited here before we click Save, so I could change this to 5. Just keep in mind that the system is going to preclude any duplicates of the job number, so we can't have two job numbers in the system that are identical. Our bid date, by default, it's going to put in today's date. You can change this to a different date if you want. That's mostly just for reporting purposes and for what you want it to show on your bid or your quote to the customer. The status of the job, this is our workflow. Again, this will be discussed further in a subsequent video. Most jobs are going to start out as a bid request. So this is somebody that calls in and that wants us to perform a quote for them. That's going to go on our estimator dashboard for the person that's assigned to. But it doesn't necessarily need to start at the beginning of the funnel. It could be maybe we got an oral obligation on this job and the customer is already committed to doing it. We could very well move it directly to scheduled, or maybe even to paid if it's something that we're entering in after the fact. So that's the status area. The project roles, these are going to dictate the combination of the status and these 4 required roles here are going to dictate which dashboard this shows up on at any given point in time. So these estimator, project manager, foreman, and accountant roles are all required fields, because otherwise the job would not appear on anybody's dashboard and could potentially get lost in the shuffle. The salesperson role is something we added recently. This does not influence the dashboards, but is just there. If there's somebody that owns a particular account, or if you have a role outside of the estimator that's doing sales, potentially you might need to track commissions, for example. The salesperson role could be used for that. The job characteristics area, we have 13 available fields here. The first one is hard-coded and available for every user, which is the lead source. That's a pretty common thing for specialty contractors to want to track where our leads are coming from. So these are all customizable in your admin panel, but you can put in the top areas that you're getting leads from. So this one's hard-coded for every one of our customers. The other 12, we have 6 custom drop-down fields, which you can dictate what's in these, and we have 6 free-form fields that you can just free-form anything that you want in these. So again, these are all set up in the admin panel. In this build here, we're tracking some industry segment information. We do some public work, so we're tracking intents numbers for our statement of prevailing wages that we have to do, and things like that. So again, that will be discussed further in the admin panel tutorial video, but that's how these things are ultimately showcased to the user entering the jobs in that customized manner. The dates and priorities, these are things that will influence filtering and sorting if you want to use this functionality on both your estimator dashboard and your project management dashboard. We have both a quantitative deadline for both estimating and production, and then we have more of a qualitative priority in terms of low, medium, and high for both estimating and production. So say for example there's a public bid that's due on a certain date, you can put in your estimating deadline here, and you could note that as a high priority, and then those can be filtered and sorted on the dashboards to make sure that we're prioritizing the most important things first. Likewise, the production deadline, so for example if we have a job that needs to be done by a certain time, schools are something that come up a lot. Oftentimes we're doing a lot of school work before Labor Day comes and goes, when school gets back in session, so oftentimes we'll have deadlines related to our customers' priorities. And then the work completed date is something that we will put in once the job is done, and we move it to either our completed, invoicing, or paid status. We would, a best practice is to enter a work completed date, because we'll be able to run powerful reporting on both of those metrics. The progression tracker and the prime contract are a little bit more extensive items that will be covered in subsequent tutorial videos. And by way of reminder, if you'd like to turn these help tips on or off, you can go to the edit profile area up here, go to help tips and uncheck the blue checkbox and click save. Thank you very much.